Hey guys, it's Aggie K, wealth therapist, coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Isn't this gorgeous, guys? Look at these mountain views. So I'm coming at you from Vancouver with a live stream on this topic. The phrase that can mess with even advanced money mindset people, and I've seen people who are just starting working on their money mindset really get screwed over with this phrase, and the phrase is just make the decision. Now, people are going to come and say, but you need that. You need to make a decision to make the money. You need to make the decision to make the income. You need to make the decision to close the deal. You do need to make the decision. However, for sustaining income increases and sustaining income leaps, it's really, really tricky. That is not the only thing. Just make the decision does not operate in a vacuum, okay? And I've heard this from several people who have studied mindset and said, you know, I keep trying to just make the decision, or I keep being told, just make the decision, but it doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's the same reason why people, don't sustain diets, why they don't sustain saving money, why they don't sustain, oh, we're not going to fight anymore, but they keep fighting with the people they love. It's because there's a deeper subconscious reason going on. And I want you to really hear this, you are trying to make a shift on a subconscious level consciously, and that's why it doesn't stick. Okay, so hear that again. You're trying to make a decision on a subconscious level consciously. That's why it doesn't stick. And that's why it can cost you a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of frustration, because that decision happens in your subconscious. Just make the decision is something you have to feel in the back of your mind. You can consciously make the decision, I'm gonna make 20K this month, I'm gonna make 50K this month, I'm gonna make 100K, I'm gonna make 5K this month. You can consciously make that decision, and it means diddly squat if your subconscious isn't on board. So the challenge then becomes to bring your awareness into the back of your mind and figure out why your subconscious hasn't already made that decision, or why it's resistant to that decision. Because if you just make it consciously, it's like you can try and force something to happen, but people get into a lot of misalignment when you try and force things, right? You try and force people to like you who don't like you. If you try and force something to happen that's not meant to happen, I don't know if your family of origin or you've ever experienced this type of thing where you try to force something to happen that's really not supposed to, and it goes sideways, right? It generally will go sideways, and the same goes for your money mindset. You can force things to happen, but it's not sustainable. Only things that are in alignment are sustainable. It's the only way it works, right? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, why would I be resisting making the decision in the back of my mind, instead of setting yourself up by saying I'm just making this decision, it's going to happen, and then month after month after month it doesn't happen, which only really supports your subconscious, which says you can't do this, which says it's never going to happen, right? We want evidence that it's going to happen, but before we even get to that, it's you're way down the road. When you're just make the decision, you should be 90% done the mindset work, where every single part of you, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, is on board with that goal, and you've released tons of blocks. Then you get to just make the decision. There's a whole bunch of background work that you need to be doing before you get to that place. That's kind of last stop before manifestation. It's not something that's happening at the beginning. You have to work through resistance. And you have to have an understanding that there is resistance. If this is something that you're repeatedly making the decision about and it's not happening, you want to stop setting yourself up and get into the mindset work and figure out what's going on in the resistance. And that stuff doesn't happen overnight. And willpower has if we look at, there's a great book about the difference between force and power, which talks about think about it, when you're trying to force something, just in energetic terms, if you try and force something, if you try to force a rock up a hill, you know, it's exhausting. Trying to force things is exhausting, right? And that's basically the place that you get to if you're going with sheer willpower and force into just make the decision, just make it happen. It puts an intense amount of pressure on you instead of like releasing the blocks and coming into alignment with the decision and figuring out it shouldn't be that hard because it's not supposed to be that hard. You know what I mean? The hard work is like releasing, and that's what your ego's resisting. That's what your subconscious is resisting. That's the real work. And I think people get confused about that when they're not experts really in deep, hardcore mindset work. So this is a golden nugget for you guys today. I mean, this should be paid content. It's going to go into my content library at some point because it's really, really solid stuff. You can take this to the bank. Don't play yourself with the just make the decision. Do the mindset work it takes to get there. Notice the difference if you're trying to force something or something is unfolding, aligning, lining up. You're looking at the resistance to create the momentum for power to for it to just be powerful and for it to come through, for it to be an easy thing to happen. The very end of that manifestation process should be easy, right? It should just be like boom, 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 everything fell into place. And it's not just because you made the decision. So don't use that in a vacuum. Make sure you're doing the supportive work of breaking down the resistance to get there. If you like this, please love, like, share. We have a couple days left before cart close for Permission to Prosper. I'm going to put the link in the comments. The results people are seeing already, course hasn't even started. Somebody manifested like 6 students in one of their programs. Another person manifested 12 students the next day. I mean, it's kind of crazy magical. I take zero responsibility for these people's results because magical things happen when you invest in yourself. So do make the decision to join that. Just make that decision. If it feels right and aligned, just do it because things will start shifting for you, you know, extraordinarily fast. When you're in the vibration of people who are doing really deep mindset work, it changes things for you. It changes your life. So I'm gonna put that in the comments. Join me for that and share this if this resonates with you guys. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time.